My name is Nikki Kenny, and the book that I chose for the nonfiction discussion post is What Do You Do with a Tale Like This? It's written by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. I think this is a good example of a nonfiction book. It talks about different animals that exist in the world and what do these animals do with their different body parts. The way the book is organized, it starts out, asking what does the animal do with a body part. For example, it says, what do you do with a nose like this? And if I were reading this book to the class, I'd probably just have them point out like, oh, that's an elephant nose and that's an alligator nose, and just pointing out the different types of animals, noses that you see, so they're kind of familiar with them. And then when you turn the page, it actually tells you what kind of animals' noses were displayed on the first page and what this animal does with that nose. For example, if you're an elephant, you use your nose to give yourself a bath. And then it just goes on to tell you, what each one of these particular animals does. And then if you turn the page, it moves on from the nose to the ears. And it says, what do you do with ears like these? And in these pictures, there's actually different animals. So we're not just talking about just elephants in every single picture. Then the book would be titled, This is a Book About Elephants. And then, you just turn the page and then it shows you what each animal does with their ears. So that's kind of how it's organized. The style of this book is meant to be, educational, fun, kind of like whimsical, because it starts out saying, what do you do with a tail like this? And kind of shows different pictures of tails. And then when you turn the page, it tells you what each of those animals does with their tails. So it first shows you a picture and then tells you what they do with them. And then the illustrations just add to it. For example, you see a monkey here hanging from a tree. Without even reading the story, I can tell you that's a monkey hanging from a tree. Well, then I go to read the section, and it says, if you're a monkey, you hang from a tree by your tail. So the illustrations really just add to the story, enhance what's actually being told in the story. The accuracy, authority, and authenticity. Well, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is on this back page. It talks about what do you do with the mouth like this? And it shows everybody's favorite, a snake, and what a snake does with his mouth. If you're an egg-eating snake, you use your mouth to swallow eggs larger than your head. Well, I'm going to tell you what, if you go on YouTube, you can watch countless videos of snakes devouring eggs bigger than themselves. Kind of gross. Have fun with that. But it authenticates what's being told in the story is that snakes can eat eggs that are larger than their heads, and you can actually watch that on YouTube. Another thing that I thought was kind of interesting in this book, it talks about what does an animal do with its eyes? Well, this one says, if you're a horned lizard, you squirt blood out of your eyes. Well, if you go to National Geographic, and I'm going to post the video because it's kind of cool to watch. I'll post it with this discussion post. The horned lizard actually does squirt blood from his eyes. National Geographic says that there's tiny blood vessels that are around the eyes, and they actually they rupture and causes like blood to come squirting out when like an attacker is trying to eat the horned lizard. Kind of gross, kind of gross. In addition to being grossed out that, hey, there's blood squirting from your eye on top of me, there's actually a canine repellent chemical that's in the blood, which National Geographic refers to it as being pepper spray, or comparing it to pepper spray. So not only is the attacker getting blood squirted on it, it's almost getting pepper sprayed, and that causes it to retreat. So that does authenticate what the author is trying to say about the horned lizard and the lovely snake. So overall, I do like this book. I think it's a great nonfiction book. I would highly recommend it to any one of my future fellow teachers out there, any one of my colleagues, when they're trying to use it for nonfiction purposes. Thank you.